We begin at our main menu. As you'll see, this model is based around residential development, but the principles and the core logic are applicable across the industry. Now, the look and feel of this model, the colours, the fonts, the layout, is just something that we've chosen. Everything you'll see today is fully customizable. The best way to view this model is from right to left. We set various parameters and build up assumptions in our organisation here before moving from weekly reporting to monthly reporting to fully linked financial statements. It's not yet switched on, but the system can also handle budgeting with workflow to remove all of the issues of using spreadsheets for these tasks. We also have 2 KPIs right here on the front menu, and as many of these as you require can be added. Starting with the status screen, this keeps track of which week we're in, user privileges and budget parameters. If I now switch on the budgeting process and return to the main menu, the budget is now available. We'll return to that later on. In global assumptions, we set assumptions that hold across the organisation. If you require, individual sites can have their own. Here there are 4, around help to buy and the breakdown of purchase price. These are all used to automatically generate data and the reports on those data. 2 things before we move on. You'll see these PDF and Excel icons in every report, allowing easy export of whatever you're viewing. You'll also see a number of these drop-downs, such as year and version in this case. These allow you to slice the data, in this case view another year's assumptions for example, and easily handle new versions. This model has actual, budget, a calculated variance, a couple of forecast versions, as well as budget phases. In production, we also add what-if scenarios, enabling you to take a copy of, say, your budget, tweak the assumptions, perhaps optimistically or pessimistically, and view the results. In site administration, we assign budget holders and managerial responsibility to each and can set parameters determining how they appear in reports. Here, for example, a site may or may not be broken down into individual plots, and once set here, the appropriate logic and reports will be applied to that site. Now, before we do any budgeting, we'll take a look at reporting on actuals. This weekly sales report pulls together a wide range of sources for the current week, showing forecast, actual, and highlighting variance for legal completions, contracts exchanged, reservations, and home exchanges. We also bring in non-financial data, such as site visits and prospects. Reports showing any combination of data from different imported sources can be easily generated, whether in this format or one completely different to your requirements. As you'll see in other reports, you can easily expand and contract columns or rows. The weekly Outlook report shows another way of viewing the data, enabling us to drill down on site groupings as required. We can view the same data by division, which additionally brings in and displays adjustments. We can display any combination of actual, budget, forecast, and variances that you require to track your progress. As an example here, we can also show adjustment detail, in this case, IFRS. Based on our assumptions, cash flow can then be easily and automatically calculated, in this case in different categories of land. You can also drill down to individual site level. By changing group up here to a region, in this case region 2, we can view all of the sites for that region at a glance. In the comparison view, we can view this data by site, by year, and land type, starting a comparison from whatever week we choose. This demonstration only has a week 7 forecast, but in production this allows for an easy viewing of how the forecast changes from week to week. If we look now at site viabilities, any information that you require can be stored and different forecasts easily compared. Here the changes in number of units, acreage and the like can be viewed over time for different forecasts. Reports can be as dynamic as required. In this case, if I was to drill down to region 3 and look at a particular site, EYCAM, a site which has only just been opened, fewer forecasts display. As you see here as well, sites and in fact any structures in the system, can be rolled up and aggregated automatically, in this case into regions and ultimately to group. If required, a facility to layer adjustments can be made available. In this case, for example, we calculate customer care provision, displayed here, and apply that to the numbers at any level that we wish. All of this information is automatically pulled together and calculations and assumptions applied to form a full set of financial statements. The P&L enables us to drill down into, for example, types of turnover, view spark lines and summary columns such as half years, and view trend charts on any item. Looking at the regional view, we can view the same data sliced a different way, in this case by region, enabling us to drill all the way down to a site-specific P&L. Impact reports, such as this one, enable you to compare one version against the other and easily see the variance in whichever P&L lines you require. This example shows the budget against a currently empty forecast, but the same principle applies for what-if scenarios. Copy the budget, change some assumptions such as percentage of help to buy, then compare to see the end result of that change. The system can also track data down to any level, in this case to individual plots within individual sites. Further information can be made available to end users where required. This model also has a simple balance sheet, where the preceding data has been used to automatically generate the balances. Likewise, in the cash flow, our assumptions around percentages of house purchases automatically show us our future cash position. The budgeting process is configured as required for each client and has robustness and control to this process. Here you can see that I'm logged in as administrator, but any user that logs in will only see the budget areas that are assigned to them in site administration. Different users can have responsibility for different phases. A manager may hold the keys to Region 1's Phase 2, but be unable to enter data at Phase 1. And all of this is fully customizable, as are the number of phases. However it's set up, Finance can see at a glance where each budget area is in the budget process and set up automatic email alerts if deadlines are missed. We won't go through the full process here, but we'll go through the first phase of Region 1. We're presented with a data entry screen where we can enter data for individual sites. As you can see, you can go all the way down to individual plots within sites if required, but site level will be sufficient for us today. Various lines are locked or unlocked for data entry. Turnover, for example, is locked as the system requires more detail than simply turnover. If we expand turnover and other, we can see the lines where more data is required and can be entered. Any lines calculated automatically, for example those based on assumptions, are also locked but can be displayed for the budget holder's reference. Every line and account is up to the end client, as are fields such as half-year totals, the ability to add commentary, and explanations to budget submissions. Zero-based budgeting is supported as you see here, or we can copy data from elsewhere, be it a similar project's actuals, or in this case, last year's actuals. Once the copy has taken place, I can then edit the numbers to reflect the coming year as required. We'll leave it be for now. Once we're finished, all of our different sites within the region, we click Submit. As you can see, this phase is now locked for me because I don't hold the responsibility for Phase 2. Returning to the budget overview, we see that Region 1 is now on Phase 2, ready for approval before it's finalised to the budget. In this way, you have full control over the process, and your end users have an intuitive front end which makes it very clear where they're supposed to enter their numbers and which displays all the information they need for that process. All your reports, such as your financial statements and the like, can also be viewed for those different budget phases and of course for the final budget. Now we could spend a lot more time in these reports, but hopefully this has given you an idea of the possibilities for solving the problems of using spreadsheets for budgeting, forecasting, reporting, and making it much easier to slice and analyse the information you need. Thanks very much for your time today. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any further questions.